Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a special bonus reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Cancer, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, you can find that information in my Buy Me a Coffee link, my official Instagram and TikTok, all listed in the About section of my YouTube page, and I thank you so much in advance. Cancer, I hope that you're doing well. I'm going to be using 2 decks for your reading today. The first one is the Chalks of King Congo. The Chalks of King Congo for your overall energy. This is a gift. By a beautiful friend, beautiful friends, and as was this tarot deck, which is the Nefertiti's Tarot. For your tarot reading today, the cards have been pre-shuffled. This is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Angels, spirits, guides, what messages do you have for Cancer, please? This is a round deck, so sometimes it can be challenging. This is crazy because when when you first get oracle decks or tarot decks or what have you, you kind of want to connect with them. You want to bond with them. And so I pulled a card for myself when I first got the deck, and it was the same card. It's birth. So there could be something that you are just starting. This could be a birth or rebirth of something in your life, in your identity. It could represent actual birth, a pregnancy of some kind. If so, congratulations. I do see it more though as it's interesting. There's so much, it's just a circle, right? But there's so much that can be inferred from it, because immediately I'm seeing this like portal that I'm jumping into or something popping out of, right? Which in many ways, the birth is a portal into this world. It's so tempting to look at this as some kind of void, but it's anything but. It's so full of possibility for you, Cancer. But I do think that there is I feel some kind of intimidation by the thought of this, the idea of starting something new, starting over. It feels daunting. It feels like a blank canvas. So let's see what Spirit has to say about it. I'm going to pull 3 cards for the base spread, 3 cards for clarifier, past, present, and future. And at the end, get some advice from Spirit. Three more. Oh gosh. A whole tumble of cards came out, but I'm not going to take all of them. Felt a little unruly. Oh, that's so funny. So I put the deck down, 6 cards out. I put the deck down, and the top card, the side of my hand, flipped it over. 10 of spades or 10 of swords in the reverse. It's the card in the upright. It's strange, they're all looking up, and it's almost like they were looking up at this, or rather like this. Something in the skies, perhaps. At the time that I'm reading, or at the time that I'm filming this, we just had a lunar eclipse. There could be something that you were releasing during that eclipse. I know for me, it really, it knocked me out, to be honest with you. Total exhaustion, I had to submit. I had to submit to that eclipse. I wasn't going anywhere. Like it was really quite impactful. So I feel as though Cancer's Of course, Cancers and Pisces ruled by the moon, but Cancer most of all. That moon was in Virgo. It's kind of connection to getting our affairs in order. The Ten of Swords in the upright talks about this sense of overwhelm by our own thoughts and feelings, being overrun by them. Often it can talk about betrayal energy. I don't feel betrayal, I just feel overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed with this card, and I feel overwhelmed with this card. You got the Ten of Swords in the reverse though, so there is something here that still needs to be reconciled. It's a little bit of unfinished business. We would like to see the tens in the upright. It means that we can move through that energy. Whenever, in tarot, I read reversals, and reversals are not bad. They simply suggest that we're not fully sitting in the power of that card. There's this almost indecisiveness about what the energy wants to do. And that can make sense if you are in a state of flux where you are still trying to navigate your way through a situation. And I feel as though there's some navigation here. Yes, you might be overwhelmed with your thoughts and feelings, but I think that at this time you're kind of trying to pull yourself together in the best way possible. Recognize, do I really need to worry about this? Or can I just let that go? Is it going to matter in a month's time, a year's time, 5 years' time? Is it going to matter? Am I going to care about it that much? So in the past energy, start with the Eight of Wands in the reverse. Eight of Wands in the upright is very fast action, fast communication, decisiveness. And so in the reverse, it's kind of like teeter-tottering. Spirit just gave me that phrase, to teeter-totter. You know what that is? It's like a seesaw. These things on playgrounds where it's just like a balance, and one kid sits on one side, one kid sits on the other side, and there's this like balance in the middle, and they just go up and down and up and down and up and down, right? That's interesting because it's this illusion. I mean, yes, you are physically moving up and down, but it's this illusion that you're going to go higher than you actually can before balance comes and the other child goes higher, right? So there could be this sense within you that you're hitting almost this ceiling of experience before you come back down again. Waxing and waning. And progress could seem like it was slow going. It's clarified by the Five of Swords in the reverse. This is the past energy. The Five of Swords talks about those times when we feel like we need to keep up, compete. As Spirit just said, one-upsmanship, or it's competition energy, winning at all costs, keeping up with the Joneses. They're giving me all these kind of phrases. This preconceived expectation of what we should be and how we should be when we should be. Thank you, Spirit. So these two cards in the reverse for me kind of signal this sense that you're not necessarily competing with other people. You're just going up against what you think is your path, what you think is your destiny, right? So like, I often talk about like the fact that I have a full-time job, right? There's so many things about where we spend the majority of our time, our jobs, for a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people. You ask yourself, well, how did I end up here? All of these decisions in my life led me to this exact moment. How did I end up here? Am I happy here? Am I sad here? Am I fulfilled or unfulfilled? What does it mean to be fulfilled in this life? Right? I think these are the questions you may be asking. But it seems to me that right now there's this reckoning happening that's just with you. That yes, on the outside you may be trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to keep up with the status quo, but internally you're asking yourself the question, am I fulfilling my heart's desire? Am I fulfilling what I'm meant to do? I mean, it could keep you up at night. Giving it a clarifier. This is the past energy. Yeah, the Hanged Man. Number 12 of the major arcana. Virgo energy. Virgo and Pisces. Just talking about the Virgo moon, weren't we? This sense that we need to get some perspective on the situation, right? We look down at something and we can make assumptions about what's going on. When we sit kind of on a perch that's high, kind of like a cat, we can survey the situation, we can survey the landscape. I mean, who knows what's happening in this picture, this depiction? Is there about to be an attack? Is it a blessing? Is it some kind of enchantment or, you know, enslavement, or like, who knows what's happening? The Hangman talks about gaining knowledge that you wouldn't have gained otherwise if you hadn't stepped away, if you hadn't stepped outside yourself. Number 12 might be significant to you. So I think in the past energy, you knew that it was important not to listen to the peanut gallery, listen to other people's opinions on a situation, that you just kind of had to come to it on your own. Nothing that anybody else was going to say was going to be as powerful as the conclusions that you would come to on your own. Because to a certain extent, Cancer, I know that you trust yourself. You trust yourself. And it shows, right, in the present energy. It's really beautiful, actually. Number 8, which is interesting. In this deck, the number 8 is connected to the Justice card. Well, one, because in a lot of modern tarot decks, the 8 is the Strength card, but in older tarot decks, the 8 is the Justice, right? So that seems significant, that justice would pop out for you. Also, right, the scales, that up and down, up and down. The Justice card connects to Libra energy. Sorry, I'm very fascinated by what the heck is going on in this corner. Do you see that? It almost doesn't make sense with the rest of the card, the design of the rest of the card. To me, it looks like an X-ray or a CAT scan, something very technological and modern. A map of the cosmos. It's very strange. That's what I'm seeing. It mimics this energy. Spirit just said, oh, you're sitting on a gold mine. You're sitting on a gold mine. I don't know why that's relevant, but this idea that Sometimes people don't recognize the blessing when it's right under their nose, right underfoot. The Justice card talks about karmic balance, reciprocity, can talk about court cases, contracts, legalities working in your favor. I think it's interesting, though, that there's a lot of layers to this card, because what's actually in balance, there's a little shape over here, and then there's a little shape behind this one. These two in the foreground look like they're the ones that are being put to task. This is a very strange card. There's this disorientation, and I feel like that's relevant. There's a disorientation to what is happening right now. So I feel as though that karmic lessons are coming in for you, and right now in the present moment you might not be able to understand the relevance. I think you're self-aware enough to see that in the midst of it, okay, I'm clearly learning a lesson. But what is it? Because it feels hard right now. It feels tough. It feels like an uphill battle. It feels like I'm struggling. But I know that it's going to make me stronger. Why do I have to learn this lesson right now? Well, whatever it is, it's for your best and highest good, because the card is in the upright, and it's clarified by the Two of Cups. Two of Cups is the Lover's card in the minor arcana. It talks about divine partnership, divine union. You can see here, they're holding hands. Two of Cups can also talk about the connection between you and your higher self, your higher aspect, your soul. It's coming together as equals. It's like looking into each other's eyes and just understanding on a soul level. You know, I'm hearing that line from that song, "Everything's gonna be all right." Everything's gonna be all right. You could have met somebody, or there could be somebody in your life right now that you have this connection with, soul to soul. And you look at them, there's this profound understanding. They could be somebody from your past. Perhaps you're showing them you're showing them the portal, you're showing them the way, because you've already passed through it. It's like you already went through something that they're going through now, and they're looking to you for guidance. And Spirit just said liberation. Feels very intimate. Yeah, see, it's like, I feel like this is the present energy, and this is you, the both of you in your past, like past lives. Thank you, Spirit. Can I get a clarifier? Can we talk about the lesson, Spirit? Thank you. Knight of Pentacles. The Knights of the Tarot are people of action. They kind of come racing in on their horses. They have messages to deliver, or opportunities. The Pentacles is earth energy. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This Knight brings in a pentacle of opportunity, abundance. It's in the upright, so it's something that you can rely on. It's something authentic. I think this has to do with trust, because I asked Spirit, what's the lesson that Cancer is learning right now? That you can trust, one, you can trust this other person, but you can trust that the lesson is for your best and highest good, that it will lead to somewhere fruitful and abundant, that it will yield a kind of wisdom that you wouldn't have gotten any other way. I'm gonna get one more. What is this pentacle? What is this that's coming in? Here we are, number 11, the Strength card. Here comes the Strength card, right? We're just talking about the Justice is usually 11 and the Strength is usually 8. And here they are. The Strength card, Leo energy of the major arcana. Sometimes we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and question what we see there. Not to the point where we lose ourselves, but rather to the point where we understand ourselves even better. But it's this sense of looking at the ego, looking at identity, and kind of chipping away at what doesn't belong, chipping away at the parts of that identity that keep us in fear or lack mentality. Understanding that the things that we thought were once intimidating and scary, the shadow sides of ourselves, are actually just kind of sweet and innocent and adorable, as my cat Bex meows at the door. It's this sense that we're taming the beast within. And you are, Cancer. I mean, I'm smiling because I'm like, I'm a Cancer and I'm glad. Right? I'm so happy that, you know, because what actually happens when we move through the Strength card of the tarot? It means that we're really coming face to face with our fears and all those things that keep us trapped, all of those triggers that people set off in us, right? It's not easy. And it might still happen. It might happen on the daily. But when it happens, the minute that it happens, can you then say, God, why did that trigger me so much? Let me think about it. Why does that person trigger me so much? Or why does that circumstance? Or what am I afraid of right now? What's really at the heart of my fear? Is it failure? Is it losing face? Is it letting people down? Is it letting myself down? But it's also being self-aware enough to ask yourself that question, those questions. It's in many ways, that is a kind of rebirth for sure. Because to do that when we're in the middle of our lives, settled in our identities, our personalities, to then kind of, what's that expression? Change a horse in mid-stride, right? Like, can't teach an old dog new tricks. I don't know why Spirit is giving me all these expressions, but that's the thing of it, right? Can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's talking about people that are set in their ways, even if those ways don't serve them. And so Spirit is kind of showing me that whatever ways you've defined yourself, the narratives, you're looking at them again and thinking, what can I chip away at? It doesn't serve me anymore. Maybe it served me when I was a kid. Maybe it served me when I was in my 20s, but now I'm a little bit older. And that story is not going to work anymore. Spirit just said victimhood, victim mentality. I've been there. Look at me, look what they did to me, look what happened to me. How am I going to recover from this? I'm sure I've been there. It doesn't really serve you, though. You're not coming to the table of your own life with any answers or problem solving. Right? So I think that you're entering into a new phase. It's like I see you popping up out of the void. You're coming through this portal. It's just more refined. More refined. And the future potential. The 4 of Cups, the 10 of Cups, and the upright. That's 14 cups. That's a lot of cups. The 4 of Cups can talk about this period of complacency or apathy or inability to see what is in front of us, right? Which could be this blessing and abundance. This is not to say, Cancer, that you are not grateful or in a space of gratitude, but I think that moving through this energy, it's like the birthing process, right? It's painful and strenuous, and on the other side of it, there's just this crying out. And so sometimes it can be difficult to recognize the blessings that are before us, right? And so Spirit wants to draw your attention to that in the future potential. Make sure to kind of raise your head. Get that perspective. Look around you. Every single day, find 1 cup to be grateful for. Can I have a clarifier for that? 5 of Wands in the reverse. It involves not fighting against ourselves. I see these 2 characters as 2 sides of the self. 5 of Wands, a fire energy, Aquarius, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You may have Aquarius in your chart. I started to say Aquarius. The 5 of Wands is that inner battle, the training for a battle that might never happen. It's just like working against ourselves. Sometimes I can see this card as self-sabotage. There could be something in your near future that's really good. Could lead to like a lot of happiness, perhaps with someone new, right? We did get the 2 of Cups. Equals coming together. Don't self-sabotage. You're trying not to. The card is in the reverse. So I see you're keeping it at bay. Maybe the tendency is there. Maybe that's what you're fighting off right now. The tendency to self-sabotage or to not think that you're good enough for energy like this. But you are. And a card of advice from Spirit. Two cards came out. The 3 of Swords and the Moon in reverse. Aren't we just talking about the moon? Weren't we just talking about the moon, number 18 of the Major Arcana? Pisces energy, also Cancer. The moon in reverse talks about secrets coming to the surface, things being slowly but surely illuminated. the shadows being cast off, the confusion being cast off as to what caused former heartbreak and heartache, the Three of Swords. Arguably one of the toughest cards in the deck. This is advice from Spirit. You're going to come face to face with these triggers and traumas, and you're going to move through them. Things are going to become very clear for you. Spirit's kind of saying lean into it. Lean into it. Because the more that it comes up to the surface, the faster we can release it. The faster we can embrace energy like this. Ten of Cups is joy, happiness, blissfulness. I'm going to read from the book for the birth card. Every day we are in a constant stage of birthing. We give life to ideas, behaviors, thought patterns, and beliefs. As with all cycles, there are different stages of the birthing process. It is important for us to be able to discern between these different stages. As the saying goes, picking the fruit before it's ripe will spoil the sweetness. Cultivating ripe harvests takes time, energy, and commitment. Labor through. That's your reading, Cancer. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Cancer.